Okay, thank you. We'll start off at number 10, the Director of Engineering Services report. Would someone like to move us into reopen?
So moved.
All seconded by Councillor Wales. All in favour?
Aye.
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 Against? Carried. Thank you. Report 10.1, report on progress works program March 2020. Recommendation there, councillors. Who would like to move that, please? Moved by Councillor
Kennedy.
Moved by Councillor Kennedy, seconded by Councillor Whitechurch. Any questions or comments there, councillors? If not, I'll put it all in favour.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. 10.2, report on progress of capital works program March 2020. Would someone like to move that report, please, councillors? Moved by Councillor Longley, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Any questions or comments there, councillors?
I have comments.
Councillor Thomas.
I just wanted to say how pleasant it was to receive a phone call from a local resident in regards to some work that had been done in their street. So well done, Team Federation. Thanks, you. It's really good to get follow up and to pass it on.
Excellent.
Good getting bouquets, isn't it, Ron?
I presume you got that, that Steve? Those nice remarks?
I did.
Good. Okay, I'll put it then, councillors. All in favour?
Aye.
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 Against? Carried. Okay, so okay, I'm up to 10.4. Tender assessment report, request for tender.
10.3.
I'm sorry, 10.3. I've missed one again. I think it's all the cameras that are making me nervous. 10.1.
Three strikes and out.
I know. I'm just trying to find 3 actually.
Yeah, 46, page 46.
Page 46.
Yep.
I haven't got page numbers, eh?
On the bottom.
Yeah.
Keep going.
See, there's 10.4 there.
Unless I missed the page and I was thinking, which could happen.
I overdid.
That's good.
Oh, you get cleared for that one. That's
I'll get
Sorry,
cleared
that
for
was my fault, everybody out there.
just missing that report, councillors. I've got it now.
photocopy error.
10.3, report on progress of Stronger Community Country funding works as March 2020. Would someone like to move that recommendation, please, councillors? Moved by Councillor Paul Meagle. Councillor Meagle, seconded by Councillor Law. Any questions or comments here, councillors?
I've got a comment.
Councillor Kennedy.
I've just had a feedback from the contractor who's doing the Rennie lights out there, and it's he seems to inform us that it sounds like the poles are going to show up hopefully by the end of this week. They've been stuck in the COVID lockdown in China, but so it's all going ahead as far as we can see, which is one of the good comments back. So thank you. That's all I need to report.
Excellent. Any other comments here, councillors?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Meagle.
Yes, just a quick question of Mr. Carmichael. Could he provide an update on the multi-sports pavilion with work about to commence, a time frame if he's got it, and also on the swimming pool splash park, what the expected process there will be now that they have a construction certificate?
Yeah. I'm happy to take that on notice, Councillor Meagle. I don't have the exact dates and figures in front of me, but I can certainly come back to you on that one.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any further comments there, councillors?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Councillor Whitechurch.
Just in line with Councillor Meagle's query on the pool, obviously where they did start some blinding or something yesterday, but I don't think we've actually come to a decision or how the splash park's going to look. In the flyover and the reports that we've seen, it's a scope we haven't actually seen what the wow factor or how it's going to look. Are we going to talk about that with the builder at some point?
Been designed.
I'm sorry, would you like to make comments, Steve?
Well, I did before the last meeting I had, we were going to have a look through the plans, but no one got around to looking at them, so it becomes very difficult now. But we are locked into the contract, which has the design in it. We can certainly flick them around and let people have a look. And we did opt for a further $90,000 worth of equipment to go into the splash park when we let the tender at the particular time. So probably all I can do under the circumstances is forward on I won't get a forward on all the plans because it runs into a huge file, but I'll see what we can dig out and forward on for that particular part of it. It makes it very difficult at the moment when we don't have face-to-face and we can sit over a table and have a look at plans, so it becomes very difficult.
Yeah, just through you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, can you
Yeah, that 90,000 was agreed, and that's right, we did go with that. But at that time, we didn't actually know what the 90,000 was going to be given. And I know that as chair of the swimming pool committee, they were all happy that we were going to get some sort of wow factor. But at the point of time when we approved the 90,000, there was no mention of what it was going to be. I probably need to write that down or have a look at that.
Yeah, in their tender, it actually details what they were going to put in, I think, from memory. But I'll double check and I'll get back to you again on that one as well.
Yep. Thank you.
It might be worthwhile to send around that detail to because we've got that advisory group. Even though we can't meet, Steve, we could probably still send it around via email to those members and councillors that are on that committee as well.
Yeah, I was going to send out an email because the CC went through the other day. So we're all signed up, ready to, we're underway. So I was going to put that out.
Yep.
There's just been a couple of little things we've been finalising, and it's all, as far as I'm aware, they're up and running. So yeah, I'll see what we can get together and how we can do it. Have a bit of a think about it, but we'll come up with something.
I think that'd be good, I think.
Yeah. No worries.
Thank you, Steve. Any further comments, councillors? I'll put it all in favour.
Aye.
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 Against? Thank you, carried. We'll move into closed council now.
No, you just recommend we defer it. So
Okay.
get the mover and seconder to defer that one.
Would someone,
I'll move that, thanks.
councillor move,
Second.
moved by councillor Wales, seconded by councillor Longley. All in favour?
Aye.
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 Against? Carried. Thank you.
So then notices without no measures is traffic committee.
Okay. Verbal delegates report. So we'll move to item 13, reports from delegates.
Or 11 now. 11.
I'm sorry.
Notices and questions.
I'm obviously missing that one too.
11.
Sorry, you said.
Take my book. Just take my book. I've got that.
Okay.
Won't do that again.
You're right. Item number 11, notice of motion and questions without notice.
With notice. I don't have any
With
received.
notice?
Yeah,
No
I haven't
receipts?
received any of those.
Okay. We'll move on to item number 12, reports from committees.
Traffic. Yeah.
Local Traffic Committee is the first one there. And there's a recommendation there. Would someone like to move that recommendation, please, councillors?
Yes,
Happy to move it,
Councillor
Mr.
Wales.
Moved by councillor Whitechurch, seconded by councillor Wales.
Thank you.
Candy Thomas.
Councillor, any comments or questions, councillors? Councillor Thomas, did I see your hand up in the background?
Both comment and question. Just in regards to the Melbourne Street crossing, I do believe that there's still some signage to go up there, and they're just still working out what that may look like and the dimensions on how far it has to be from that particular crossing, which is really great for the main street there because it was much needed. Certainly still the height of that median strip is still an issue, but maybe that will never be resolved, but we just really got to put strategies in place to make it more safer for our residents. And just a question, in regards to the parking spaces allocated in front of those shops there in Melbourne Street, is there a methodology for how many car parks you have per shop? If someone can answer that, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Answer.
Yes, I'll ask Director Susan to take that one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Thomas, there are requirements under the planning legislation for how many car parking spaces for the use of the building inside. So for, say, a shop, I think it's around 30 square metres of gross floor area requires 1 car parking space.
Thank you so much for that clarification.
Thank you. Councillor Whitechurch.
Mr. Mayor, not that it's in the Traffic Committee report, but I'd just like to compliment the committee. I know it's different, but there are some proactive things coming out of it now, albeit in the length of time, and I think the Director Steve's been onto it as well, so that's great. The one thing I did have, and I'm not sure it's going to go to the Traffic Committee, and maybe the right member of staff might be able to help. I had a customer that's got a business, out in the industrial estate. Quite a few of them wanted to change the sign on the industrial estate to have a list of the businesses that are in the industrial estate. I went and had a look, and the sign that's there is still an old Corowa Shire Council sign. It's not a Federation Council industrial estate sign, and just wondering whether that goes to the Traffic Committee or whether that's just an operational matter where they can look at putting the list of businesses in the industrial estate there. But I think they were going to pay for it themselves from memory.
Yeah, I'd assume that if it's within the block itself, Steve might comment, but I'd assume that wouldn't have to go to a Traffic Committee. It's an advertising thing that would be done through EcoDev. So Joe can take that on with Jared, yeah. Yep.
Thanks. I believe they've put an application in that was refused at this point, but I'm not sure of the depth of the application.
Right.
Thank you. Anything further there, councillors? Apart from comment, while we're talking about signs, whether that sign to Urana, the way up north sign is at the intersection where you turn off the Albury Road to go up north, the Great North. So I'm not sure whether that's there or not, but I think it was an RMS issue, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, I think the one that got put up just after amalgamation was done by us. I don't think we ever got approval from RMS, and they did upgrade all their signage, so it's probably been taken down again, so we probably need to get it put back up again if that's the case.
No worries, thank you. Any further comments, councillors? If not, I'll put it all in favour.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. We'll move to item number 13, reports from delegates. So 13.1's verbal reports. We'll start our round table for anyone that would like to bring a report to the table. Councillor Thomas, did I see your hand up again?
Yes, that would be really great. So I just really wanted to highlight, it was really enjoyable and engaging time that we had when we met with the Federation Youth Council, which we did after our last council meeting. We were able to go in and meet with them, and it was a very enlightening time because we got to get a lot of getting to know you type of exercises between the councillors in the room and the youth council, and especially when it involves chocolate, it made it even more enjoyable. And it was just really gave us further insight, to their knowledge and, their journey as being youth councillors. Their ideas that they have coming forward are absolutely brilliant. And then the next day we were able to go and be at the opening of the new facility at the Max Kerwin Water Ski Park. As you would be aware, unfortunately, the World 2020 event did not go ahead, and I have not heard whether they've been successful in maybe hosting another event next year. But it was really good to get some local spirit, there still, and to actually gain a little bit of history and insight to how that particular water ski park came to be what it is today, a worldwide facility, and that needs to be acknowledged. This is another point of call that needs to be followed up, and I'd like to take it up with key staff members into the future and possibly come to the table at our May meeting would be follow-up conversations that have occurred since attending the Murray-Darling Association strategic planning meeting in workshop, which occurred in Echuca. And that has happened with the Mayor of the Shepparton City Council. He also happens to be the chairperson of what they call Region 2. Currently, Federation Council sit in Region 1. And there has been much discussion about maybe Federation Council is not sitting comfortably in Region 1. And I would like to think that we could start exploring the protocols around about moving into Region 2. And we do have the support of that current chair, Mr. Dennis Patterson, to do that. And I believe he's had consultation with the CEO of the MDA and they're feeling comfortable as well. But if we can just start those discussions and etc., whether that needs to go back to our Region 1 through our Region 1 general meeting, or whether we can take it straight to the MDA and then come back to our council meeting. But looking for comment. Thank you, Mr. Butler.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Thomas. I'll check what date. I just noticed we've got a couple of emails this morning from Councillor Thurley, our chair of our Region 1. So I'll check what their timing is about meetings and communications. And I think, yeah, it'd be good to go to them and have that discussion before we went straight to either Region 2 or the board. But I think it's good that those conversations have been had at least. And as you're aware, like they were all the main players were down there at that planning workshop that we had, which you and I attended. So yeah, I think we can be looking at it positively going forward.
I mean, I think I was going to say, follow up, just say it's part of our natural progression to move into Region 2, especially in the space of water. And, you know, our follow-up discussions with West Koorugan, you know, we're hoping to have West Koorugan in the room with us at a workshop, so then we can all be across, you know, their particular issues. And you've got to remember too that Mick Kelty has just released his report on the Murray-Darling Basin Plan and also the engagement and how it's been followed up.
Councillor Thomas, would you just define Region 1 as against Region 2 for the councillors so that they understand the move?
I've heard you now. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So Region 1 actually sits to the most eastern point of the basin. So you've got to think that it encompasses the upper reaches of the Murray, which includes, Toolangatta, Corryong, Albury itself, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Butler, those areas. Whereas if you look at more the Plains country and the cross border between, Berrigan, Moira, that particular area, it just encompasses more of what we see as a more fit discussion for us to be in and to be in the room. After attending a couple of Region 1 meetings, I really felt that some of their agenda items weren't suitable to what we were going to in Federation. So that's why I'm thinking that this move into Region.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Any further questions on that topic, councillors? Okay, we'll move on. Councillor Wales, you had a report?
Yeah, I'd like to, I also attended the Women's Road with Councillor Thomas, and what a lovely area it is out there. It's a lot better when I saw it before with all the grass, and well done. Also, the Youth Council, I went there and they were good to talk to, and it was interesting. In my previous job with the police, they asked a lot of questions about that, and I'd like to thank Bronwyn, Councillor Thomas, for giving me the tip to remind them about that number on the side of the road where you match up with the speedo number and you won't get into trouble when you're driving a licence. A lot of those kids have licence, and so I just thought that'd be a bit of good information for them to keep their licence. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Wales. Any further reports, councillor?
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Councillor Meagle.
Thank you. Just a brief report on a Zoom meeting that I had with the Energy Subcommittee for Ramjo as a representative of Federation Council. Very excited. Bridget Leopold's doing an excellent job of talking at a very high level with both Transgrid and the state government. What was really exciting was the intent from the state government to help fund the research and audit of all the councils within Ramjo to establish their capacity for improved efficiencies from renewable energy. Certainly Federation Council leads the way in this, that we've done a lot of work already. Some have done some, a lot of councils haven't done any. However, with our intention and motion to move to electricity neutral by 2025, that was very well received, and that with all the work that needs to go into the background for things to progress, it was very encouraging that the Department of Premier and Cabinet were pretty much on board to help us out and make this work. So that was very exciting. Also, the Transgrid line, I think the intent is to talk more to Transgrid about the options. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has minimised our opportunity to do that at the moment, but hopefully that will still come forward, and it's exciting times ahead. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Meagle. And just while we're on that, you might have noticed an email, and I've had certainly a couple of phone calls from farmers in the area. It appears that where I understood that Transgrid originally might have tracked through more station country, it's closer in towards Culleval. It's red undulating country, cropping country. But the problem there was they were around the area in their utes and walking across places. They mustn't have made too many phone calls before they got there, but the farmers were just wondering what's going on, and so hopefully they'll get out there and put the message out in that community to let them know what's happening. Also, I was wondering whether they'd actually decided whether to come on this side of the river or the other, if they've made that decision. Maybe any answers there, Director?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not aware that they've made a determination yet.
Yep.
They're still preparing the preliminary environmental assessments at this stage.
Yeah, communication is key.
Yes, and it'd be certainly exciting anyway if we do get selected on this side for sure, and it'd create a lot of opportunity, I could see. Any further? Thank you, Councillor Meagle. Any further reports there, councillors?
Mr. Mayor, could I just make a comment?
Absolutely.
Just going back to the water issue, because I sit at a high vantage level and look over the Hume Dam, I'm very concerned at the moment that they are still letting 6,000 megs a day out of the Hume Dam. And as of this morning, it's down to 12%. And I just would love to know where that water is going.
South Australia.
South Australia, yeah. No, you wonder what where it's all going to end up, really.
By the water.
Yeah. Any further, Councillor Thomas? Did you want to make comment on that?
Oh, it's just it'd be really great for Director Carmichael to have a look at Mick Kelty's report, because he actually talks about that intergovernmental agreement between South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales, and how they thought about it back in the early 1900s of how that water should be distributed. I just think you'd find that an interesting read.
You might send me a link to that if you got a chance, please, Councillor Thomas, because I wouldn't mind having a read of it, actually.
Yeah, it's probably something as an LGA we probably need to get across at some stage.
I would suggest the transitional losses in that were probably the biggest issue between states. Anyway, thank you, councillors. Is there any further reports? If not, we've got a mover in a second. I'll put them all in favour.
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. We'll move to item number 14, correspondence requiring council action for information. I'll just run through briefly and maybe move them as a block. Pigdon's Holden, 14.1, 14.2 Frankston City Council, 14.3 Lord Mayor of Sydney Clover Moore, and 14.4 Senator Deborah O'Neill. Councillors, if you're happy, if someone would like to move that recommendation. Moved by Councillor Wales, seconded by Councillor Law.
Just comment on a couple.
And would you like to comment on some of those items?
Wales in a minute.
The gentleman just going to make a comment here, and then we'll move around.
Thanks, councillors. So 14.1 was replying back to the mayor. The mayor and council wrote in support of the local dealership given the Holden withdrawal. So it was good to get that letter back to say that they're here for the long haul. They've been through a lot of those changes before, and and also been very appreciative of council support. Excuse me, since that opened on a competitive basis, they've been quite successful in a lot of our vehicle purchases. So I think they were quite encouraged that we took the time, the mayor, to write to them. So 14.2 is Frankston City Council in Victoria, around Royal Commission reform into gambling harm. That's probably more for noting. 14.3, I'm just sliding them up here as well, sorry. But 14.3 is from Lord Mayor of Sydney, Clover Moore, and they were going to have a really big summit in Sydney, the Sydney Climate Action Summit, that was cancelled due to the COVID-19, and they're looking to rehab that big conference at some stage, but they're really keen to learn about what councils are doing in regards to renewable energy and other initiatives to have a more sustainable environment. So I think it does talk about signing a declaration there, which talks about endorsing a plan to purchase 100% of renewable electricity, reduce waste to landfill and protect water supplies. So we've got our motion we're working towards, which Councillor Meagle talked about as well, about our goal to become electricity neutral, but we're certainly not able to commit to all those other ones as yet. But with our work with Ramjo and others, I think, around our waste and our water supply work, we can probably still be part of that conversation, I think, or need to be, in regards to where we are going as a local council to make our own efforts. And so we'll follow up some work on that one. And 14.4, Senator Deborah O'Neill, New South Wales Senator, regarding the potential, or if not a potential anymore, the local economic downturn that it has caused, and discussing with unions about fast-tracking spending in local government areas. So again, we'll be making sure that if there's any new announcements about funding, or we've also got some big grants that are already in play before COVID that hadn't been announced yet. So aerodrome and sale yards at Cora especially. So we'll be keeping an eye on those ones.
Thank you. Councillor Wales, did you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I fully support Mr. Butler's comments about Pigdons. It's very important for our community here, and it's very sad to see that Holden have gone. I can relate to Holden because I did my apprenticeship at the Yarrawonga Majors, which was the Holden dealer many years ago. So, and it's good to see that any issue we can have, we can speak to our manager, Mr. Shelley, and have a talk with him. So, well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wales. Any further comments there, councillors? If not, I'll move item 14.1 to 14.4.
Oh, we just also noted we hadn't got a mover and a seconder for 13.1, our delegates report. So if it was able to, we might get.
We'll do that. Yeah.
Do those. Yeah.
Sorry. Just from the delegates report we've had, we must have something created a rush there. So can I have a mover and seconder for that report, please?
Move.
Councillor Longley and seconded by Councillor Kennedy. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Now on to the correspondence. We're moving items 14.1 to 14.4. We've got a mover and a seconder for that recommendation. All in favour? Have we got a mover and seconder? Against? Carried. Okay, we're now moving to item 15. Would someone like to move us out of open, council?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Law, seconded by Councillor
Meagle.
Note that Councillor Whitechurch has left.
And no, I note that Councillor Whitechurch has left. All in favour?